Federico, what do you think? Successes and watch fails.
Oh man, I think it's not that this year hasn't been hugely polarizing. I think there's been a lot of things that have happened, but nothing that can be, a few things, but nothing that can be fully a fail or fully a success.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about JLC? Something that you know a lot about, way more than me. The Memovox, the new Memovox tribute. I personally love it, but I think JLC is a little too deep in the reissues, personally.
I think so. We've had tribute to Deep Sea, tribute to Polaris, tribute to 948, tribute to 1931, tribute to Memovox.
What's next? But it'll sell well, undoubtedly, because it's a classic JLC. It's priced more or less in the same realm. So you can't really complain, but I think it's them being safe more than anything.
I think so, and I think everyone I've spoken to in the JLC collector community has said, if we could see just one innovation for 2017, let it be a return to a true modern take on the sports watch. Let's see something that goes back to the spirit of those early to mid-2000s master compressors.
Well, it was, in my time in Richemont and retail, it was unofficial. But basically, everybody knew the JLC sports line was pretty much not really in production anymore. It was never officially discontinued, but you would never walk into an AD and see an abundance of master compressor chronographs or master compressor alarms. It just was not the portion of their collection that was selling. And this was 2-3 years ago. So I think they need to revamp that, absolutely.
I think there was probably a little bit of a sense in the late 2000s, oh my gosh, the tribute watches, they do so well. They generate so much buzz. Tribute to Geophysic, let's add another one. All of a sudden, auction results on a watch that used to sell for $5,000 start pegging. And they got too wrapped around that concept at the same time that the industry as a whole was saturating that nostalgia market.
Absolutely. And I think it's also has to do to get people to stop buying, maybe to potentially not buy vintage when they get that vintage feel in a newer watch. But it's an interesting strategy. It's definitely working, I think, but I'm a little tired of it as a collector personally.
Like you, I'm ready to turn the page. The high complications at JLC are still great, and every piece they build has great integrity in terms of what you're paying for. You're generally getting good value at JLC. I just feel stylistically and philosophically, we both think it's time to embrace modernity again. Always have that historic collection. So there are some watches flying the flag, but don't let it be the preponderance of the company image for half a decade on end.
Very well said. Very, very well said.
Now, there's some other questions coming in already. This is from Eric Q. Okay, what are your opinions on Tudor's Heritage Chrono, the Monte Carlo reissue, and reissue advisor? This is Eric's questions. Do they have module movements, dual movements? Do you think this hurts the value proposition? Let's just tackle this at first. What do we think of the Heritage Chrono and the reissue advisor?
I love the advisor, and it doesn't get enough recognition. And I like the Heritage Chrono, but that's significantly more popular than the advisor, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, there are the Vulcane Cricket and the JLC Memovox were on one pricing plane. We don't know what's going to happen with Vulcane now that the company is for sale, but they were, at least on the steel level, competing in the same price bracket. And then you had like the Tudor Advisor and even a Turn-A-Zone alarm watch, and that was a different price bracket.
You're right. And are the movements modular? Yes. The Monte Carlo is a 2892. I believe the Dubuis-Duprat chrono module.
It's usually a 2000 series.
Yeah, it's the exact same movement you get in the Tag Monaco, which is why you'll see the crown is usually a couple of millimeters below the pushers because of the modularity, the nature of the movement.
It's got a little bit of a Royal Oak offshore going.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, it's very, very solid. I just, hear that it's a little bit of a pain to service.
That could be true. My own watchmakers tell me that in general, people who are not trained on modules have a crisis of confidence when they confront them because there are things that they don't have. They don't have a powertrain. They don't have reduction gears.
Exactly.
It's like all the rules they've learned in watchmaking school are turned on end. So, we like them. They're not the watches you buy for sophistication of caliber. They're watches you buy for value, for durability, because all of those movements and when appropriate, modules are tried and true pieces. Believe me, it's when people start going in-house and you start seeing first-generation in-house calibers that you have to start worrying.
Ouch, yeah. And you know what? I'll go a step further and say a reason you buy a Monte Carlo from Tudor is because it's highly versatile. That watch looks great in 1,000 different occasions. You can wear it to the beach, you can wear it to the office, you can wear it almost everywhere except black tie.
Actually, our own watchmaker, director of watchmaking activities, Michael Michaels, he wears the Tudor Heritage Chrono Blue, so he's a fan.
There you go. Fantastic.